Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my NHL 20 franchise mode here in the state of hockey. In the previous episode, we finished up simulating the 2032-2033 regular season, and as you can see right there, we whooped the league left and right, all 82 games of the season. Do you want me to tell you the record again? 66 wins, 14 regulation losses, and 2 OT and shootout losses. What a season. A season of milestones. A season of absolute domination from the Minnesota Wild. And are you surprised at this point from the Wild? No. We're looking for revenge. We got this team together. We're like the frickin' Avengers. We assembled. First part of the season, 17-8 and something through the first 27 games of the season. It wasn't the best of hockey, but I'm like, if we sustain this, it's a 55-win season. Easy. Probably a President's Trophy. But right around December, right about here. We didn't lose a game for, 23, 22 games. We didn't lose a game. We went the month of February with 2 regulation losses. We finished out the season in our last 10 games, 8-2-0. We're whooping the league left and right. There's only a handful of losses on the season. Nothing super noticeable. The wins came and they stayed. Now, here's hoping all that good positive vibes transfer over into the postseason, because if you don't know, last postseason, first round, coming off of another President's Trophy, trying to four-peat, become an actual NHL dynasty, we drop round 1 against the Dallas Stars in 5 games. That's why we traded Cody Tallender, because he's disappointed me so often in the last few years. He was not a consistent goaltender. But this year, everybody showed up. Brant Clark had 101 points as a defenseman. If I'm not mistaken, it was 101. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right. 101 points. 101. Quinn Hughes, actually, I went and checked the all-time points by defenseman. With 1,217 points exactly, he ties Larry Murphy for 5th all-time by defensive points in about 500 less games. 450-ish games. That's incredible. Now, I don't know how old Quinn Hughes is going to be when he retires, but the most all-time is 1579 by Ray Borg. I think that is doable. 300 more points, 4 or 5 more seasons out of Quinn Hughes. I'm hoping maybe you see that. This team is ready to go. But we did lose Lino Waters heading into the postseason. We're losing him for a few games. Now, I don't know if I want to call up somebody and put them in a position to play on the third line. There's a lot of guys here that could potentially be that guy. But I think I'm just going to roll with what we have here in the NHL. I'm going to roll with Danner there on the third line. I think Hudobin and Gogolev should counteract Danner. I think we should be relatively fine. I like that +3 on the fourth line. But today, we are facing the Chicago Blackhawks. Every other time we've played them since I took over as general manager, we have beat them. But we are rivals. We have played each other quite often. It's been a few years, but I'm excited to see the Chicago Blackhawks. After this past free agency phase, they lost their best player in Gustav Slychuk, but right now I'm looking at a dangerous lineup. Let's start at the top. Cole Perfetti, 31 years of age, 11th overall in his 2020 draft class. Their first line center. That's a great 1-2 punch, Cole Perfetti and Kirby Dach. Dylan Strome, one of the older players on this squad. You got Silas Gogol, who is a former first overall pick of the Chicago Blackhawks, is currently their centerpiece. I mean, he hasn't been the best statistically the last 2 seasons, but Chicago seems like they've struggled, but not a bad player to have there. It's a good first line. Second line, Kirby Dach, as we said before, a 2019 third overall pick, just behind Capo Caco and Jack Hughes. Why did I press back? Every time I do that, I don't know why. I think it's because it's slow, and my brain is working too fast. That's too much of a compliment to myself, though. And then you got Ray Reimer. Ray Reimer, what a name. Double R, 5th overall pick in 2027. Chicago kind of rebuilt there for a little bit, drafted high, drafted a few really key pieces for them. Silas, Reimer, Adam Beckman, former Minnesota Wild. Oh, I hate to see that. Uh-oh. How long has he been with Chicago? He's been with Chicago for what, 1 season. That's it. He was with Toronto the majority there, with us for a few years. Not a bad career for himself, but that's a really good second line. Third line, Vyacheslav Chubasov. 27 years of age, 89 overall playmaker on your third line. That's an interesting decision, but where else are you really going to play him? I guess you could go Beckman on the third line, because technically he's a natural centerman. Chubasov could work really anywhere. I'm not totally sure, but that's definitely a great center core. There you have Anders Bjork and Nick Holmes, 21 years of age, top 9 potential forward. It's not a bad third line. It definitely looks a lot prettier with Chubasov there, but their wingers kind of die out after that. They got Hirovnin, you got Shishkinov, and Chance Holmes. All in all, their top 9's really good. Their top 2 lines are even better. But how good is their defensive core? Okay, they definitely don't have their cornerstone defenseman. Boquist hasn't been with them for a few years. They got Anton Olsen, Lucas Johansson, Keith Roussel, Noah Dobson, Adam Ginning, and Jordan Spence. It's a pretty average defensive core. They obviously don't need a mega offensive defenseman kind of guy, but it would be nice for them to have an 87 overall defenseman plus. But you really don't need that, because it all comes down to goaltending, right? Huh? What is the goaltending going to be like? Their starting goaltender, wow, they have a tandem and a half. Jin Ryun for the Chicago Blackhawks. We have faced him plenty of times before. Very often. We always seem to face him. He's been Chicago's goaltender for a long, long time. At the end of his career, he might be one of the best ever. Geez Louise. Yeah, he puts up wins left and right. It's definitely a scary goaltender to face in the postseason. Their backup, Marek Kolnick, could definitely replace him in the very near future. I guess there's a 4-year age gap. Who do you really go with here? Since he has 1 year left on his deal, you never really know. Scratch players, you got Troy Marchment, you got Geoffrey Gill, and Marcus Oliwa. It's a good team. I get why they might have struggled a bit heading into the postseason, but all in all, they're a relatively well-built team. They struggled heading into the postseason, 3-7-0. They're just here because other teams around them couldn't capitalize. So here we go. Round number 1, can we get a little revenge and head to the second round, hopefully, trying to go for another Stanley Cup. Game number 1, home ice. Here we go. First period. Oh, we're going to start that off. Okay, Christian Pettersson. Now, the reason we brought you back over Cody Tallender was on the basis that you would perform way better. Postseason last year, you put up some good numbers in 2 games. You were the only reason we kind of stayed in it. This year, you were a legitimate trophy nominee. You were a great goalie all year long, but you need to step it up. On 8 shots, 3 goals is unacceptable. Second period. Okay, we bring it close. Harrison Hadar's first ever postseason goal. We are one back, and we are almost doubling them in shots. Minnesota step up. Power play early. They kill it off. Danner ties it up. That is a huge goal for the guy that we kept in the lineup power play for Chicago. And they break the deadlock. And Gogolev ties it up just like that. 4-4 in game number 1. It is a close one heading into the final moments of the last period. Bissonnette from the blue line ends it late in game number 1. What a goal from the point with 35 seconds remaining. Gets the crowd into it, and we finish off game number 1 with a 5-4 close victory. You know, these games between Chicago and Minnesota are going to be barn burners. But that's too close. I don't like that. I mean, a win is a win is a win. But I'd like it not to be as close. Game number 2, Danner, hey, it's nice that we kept him in. Maybe we wouldn't have won that game without him. I mean, we wouldn't have won him. But who knows what would have happened. But he was there. He stepped up. Everybody else needs to step up. First period. 0-0. Goaltenders duel at this point in time. 20 minutes, everything can change just like that. Shots are in our favor by 4, 11-7. Second period. 1-0 Chicago. Depth defenseman Spence gets on the board, breaking the 0-0 deadlock. Pettersson be better. 1 goal on 14 shots isn't bad, but with the shot volume from Chicago, you should be doing better defensively, Minnesota. It is 1-0. The offense needs to step up. We're out shooting them by 10. Come on, Minnesota. I know the offense is somewhere under there. Do not let that stop you. Cale Newman ties it up just like that. Power play right after the goal, and we can't capitalize. 1-1, just like game number 1. Power play for Chicago. Gogolev with a short-handed goal. Special teams coming in clutch here in game number 2. Langweeder with a late goal, making it a 2-goal lead for the Wild, and we will walk away with the 2-0 lead and a 3-1 victory in game number 2. Cale Newman, Langweeder, and Gogolev all showed up. Gogolev's having himself a good postseason so far. There's a few guys that have not showed up just yet. They're getting shut down by Chicago's first line, and you know who I'm talking about. Francis, Kaprizov, Petrangelov, everybody else seems to be kind of stepping up. Here we go, Minnesota, game number 3. We either take a stranglehold or they cut this series lead in half. Okay, Minnesota, here we go. First period underway. 0-0, just like game number 2. We're doubling them up in shots. 15-7. I don't like this. Second period. 2-1. We get the first 2 goals of the evening. Cale Newman and Bissonnette showing up. Bissonnette with 2 goals in the postseason already. He's been our best defenseman. Newman with another one as well. Strome cuts the lead in half. Shots are 26-20 in our favor. Okay, Minnesota. It is time to step up and shut this one down just like game number 1 and game number 2. Show them who's boss. Third period underway. We have the lead for the first time, I believe, heading into a third period of this series. I mean, I'm not sure about game 1. I have a memory of a goldfish. I actually have a pretty good long-term memory. But when it comes to video games, power play for Chicago. We kill it off. Quarter of the period remaining. Can we hold on for that sweet, sweet stranglehold? That's probably not the great adjectives to use or verbs. Kaprizov with the empty netter. Back-to-back 3-1 victories. I'm not even going to talk about goaltending, and me just mentioning goaltending has jinxed everything. But we walk into Chicago. The second game in Chicago of this series. Lionel Waters is back. Are we going to throw him in? Has Danner been a beauty? 1 point in 3 games, an important goal, but I'd rather have Lionel Waters in the lineup. Anyways. Good. If that ruins everything and we drop 4 straight, I'm going to be... Could you imagine? I mean, I can imagine because we've done it. Literally. Okay. Minnesota. One more game. That's all you got to do to head back to the second round. You are a cup champ. You have won it plenty of times. There's a lot of new faces on the squad that have not been involved with postseason series. Look at the bottom two defensemen on our team. Grossman and Perez have never been in a postseason in the NHL. Look at Harrison Hadar. Look at all the players on our team. Step it up. Show them who's boss. Game number 4, a chance to head to the second round. First period. 1-0 Chicago. Cole Perfetti, their first line center, on 8 shots, making it 1-0 Chicago. Okay, our offense really gets out of the gates really slow. I don't necessarily like that. I don't like it at all. Our offense needs to step up. There's a few guys we have yet to see from, and I'm waiting for that. We're paying them millions of dollars. They should and need to step up. Second period. 1-1. Brandt Clark winning the Norris this season, probably. He's probably going to win it. 100-point season as a defenseman is rarely hard to come by. Rarely hard? Wait, I'm terrible at English. Brandt Clark steps up. A lot of blue liners getting in on the action this postseason. 1-1, heading into the third period, leading in shots. 25-17, a chance to sweep the series in Chicago. The Windy City, are you prepared? Minnesota, 1-1 deadlock in the third period. 1 goal will probably win it. Power play for Chicago. We kill it off. That is a big penalty kill for the Wild. Are we? Bissonnette, a third goal in the postseason. Chicago with the power play. Will that end it? A late goal again for the Wild, and we sweep the Chicago Blackhawks in round number 1. You got to give it to Rion there. The last 3 games, he couldn't really do much more. 3 goals every game. I mean, it is what it is. We walk away with the all-important victory in game number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Obviously, they're important, Owen. I don't even know what you're talking about. That's good. Minnesota, the momentum is on your side. You see right there, Bissonnette is leading the team in points. I'm going to check it out because this video has been relatively short, so might as well check it out. The leading scorer for forwards. There are a few guys. Oh my God. Oh, Anthony Francis, I'm about to have a fit. Kel Newman. The points aren't going to be the best, but we did walk out with a series victory. That's all that really matters. But if we had performed not as well, I would be looking to our big guys to be like, hey, where the hell were you? Were you just stuck in a toilet and somebody didn't let you out? Or did you fall in? Did you crack your head off something really, really hard and you're in a coma? Kel Newman stepped up. 5 points. Same for Hadar, the rookie, stepping it up. And that's exactly why he's here in the NHL this season, doing things I hadn't imagined him doing for a few years. I'd probably say maybe next year he gets a third line time. He stepped up this year as a second line center for the Minnesota Wild, doing everything in his power to make this team better. Hadar, I am glad to see you are performing well. Louis Langweeder, after a troubling season, we kind of discussed it in last episode, saying, we know he's probably not going to have the best of season because he's not on much power play time. Comes out here in the postseason, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points, plus 3 no penalty minutes. It's a pretty good postseason so far. Sergei Gogolev, 2 goals, 1 game-winning goal, good for 3 points, stepping it up. Kirill Kaprizov, captain with 2 goals, 2 important goals. Could have been better. Same with Petrangelov. I expect those guys to always be a point per game. Always. Always. I'm not mad because we won. It'd be a different story, though. Danner in 3 games, 1 point. Hudobin with 1 point, not the best. McKinnon with 1. Bobilev with 1. Waters with 0. Francis with no points in 4 games. Francis is a 99 overall player. He put up 136 points in 82 games for the second straight season. He has 1,376 career points in 902 games. Excuse me? No, I'm mad with that performance. If this is a sign of things to come, straighten it up. Today, I want to bring him into my office and yell at him. What the hell are you doing? We just signed you to a $13 million deal for the next 7 years or something incredible like that. You step it the hell up. There are no excuses, Anthony Francis. Defenseman. Bissonnette has been our most impressive player. He has 3 game-winning goals. He had 3 game-winning goals? Are you on... What? Bissonnette? MVP? Bissonnette? Are you on drugs game? So, Francis doesn't put up any points, but Bissonnette puts up 5 and 3 game-winning goals. He's shooting at 50%! The hell is this? Quinn Hughes with 3 points. Impressive. Brant Clark with 1. Perez with 1. Parrish with 1. Grossman with 0. Plus 0. 2 penalty minutes. Defensive core was relatively good. I really don't want to talk about goaltending because I think it's voodoo, but Pettersson stepped up, excluding game 1, but he won anyways. He won some really important games there. He was really good the entire way through, and I'm kind of surprised because I'm always used to goaltenders fighting our winning ways. I just don't get it. But the real question is, who will we be facing in round number 2 of the postseason? Lee Lamb has been hurt in the AHL. No need to worry about that. It's the AHL. Not too worried. Who's it going to be? Who are we facing in round number 2? Too bad the Dallas Stars aren't in the postseason. I would love to face them, but it does seem... Oh, I already know the team we are facing. A long-time rival in the Colorado Avalanche. One of the best teams in the NHL. They might even be the second best team in the NHL this season. Are clashing in round number 2 again. That is going to be a series and a half. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, please leave a like, leave a comment, share with people who you think may enjoy this sort of thing. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.